good to be alive. Good to be alive. Yeah, it's good to be alive. And we all want to see you thrive. Hang on for the ride. This is Paul Vibes, bringing you a spiritual flow and information that can remedy the soul. A man for the people. Message in a bottle, but he threw it in a podcast. Now it's full throttle. Life is never hollow. But if you ever feel twisted or need to be lifted, yo, my man is gifted.
Listen, hey everybody, Paul Vibes here. Welcome to another episode of the People's Podcast. We got Ryan, we got Steve. Welcome to the podcast, guys.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. I normally hug, but we'll air hug. You're a little far from there. Yeah. Only him and I can
far
hug.
away.
Only him and I can hug.
Oh.
No, it's okay. Bring it in, man. Bring it in. It's been a journey, man. I'm glad you guys got stickers. You got tea.
Yeah, man. About these stickers.
You finished your tea. There's no tea left.
Look at that.
Third-eyed vibes.
Because put that on the Mac.
Hey, cheers. You know what?
Cheers.
You guys have been killing it.
Already empty, but that's
Empty. Hey, no one. They didn't even know that.
I'm an open book.
I saved a little bit.
Just for that?
just for that cheers.
I didn't even get a drop.
Here, you can have some of mine. Okay, no, you know, one. I want to start this off. I already said it before the podcast, but I want to thank you guys. You guys you do a lot for the community. You don't make a ton of money yet. You do it for the kindness of your heart, and I appreciate it, man. As someone who's an entrepreneur, ups and downs, a father, going to school, work. It's cool to see people in the community who just want to create magic and make moves and aren't always trying to nickel and dime people and always try to get something from them. So I appreciate it. You guys inspire me as an entrepreneur to keep going. And I know it sounds dramatic, but it's true.
Thanks, man.
Thanks. Cool. I'm happy that you had that reaction to what we have going on.
I do. I can't speak for everybody, but I know that the people I've spoken to that they've said similar things. For the most part.
And thanks for having us on too.
Yeah, we're excited to be here and talk to you.
Yeah, we're excited. So I know a lot of people watching this know what the Moverz are. They're part of the Moverz, but for those who have no idea, what the heck? Before we get into all the cool projects you have going on, I want us to get the basics, the foundation of what you guys are about.
So I guess let's take a step back and start on why this thing started in the first place. And
the first move.
The first move.
Step.
It was 2017, 2016. Me and Steve just graduated college. Matt was a year ahead of us and still kind of in that glow phase of what are we going to do for the rest of our life. And
what are you going to do?
Don't
know.
Still trying to figure it out.
We're still figuring it out.
But I mean, it all started like most things with an idea, and we would, at the time, me and Steve had an internship, and Matt was working as a personal trainer, and every time we finished our 9 to 5 or whatever, we would get together and stay up till really late, just kind of ideating and coming up with this philosophy of the world that we wanted, because we saw a bunch of hardships and challenges, and it wasn't set up for us to just do what we loved, so we wanted to create something that was able to do that for us. And that's kind of where Moverz started and originated, was this idea of let's create a community that supports positive ideas. And through the years we've just met a bunch of people, and at the truest form it really comes down to Moverz isn't just a company, it's people. Movers are people, and what a mover is just someone that's taking action towards a passion or whatever inspires them or lights them up every day. That's what we want to kind of encourage.
And what I love about it is exactly that you bring people from all walks of life. You don't go there and just find people that are musicians or people that are artists. So many cool people. I still connect with people from previous meetings. I'm still finding ways to network, and they connect me with someone, and that's cool. And it almost creates a brotherhood, a sisterhood of people that just want to support each other.
Mm-hmm. That was the goal, is to create this community of people that live under the same culture. You get a culture based on where you grew up or your ethnicity or your background, your family, but we're creating our own culture of just support and positivity.
Yeah, you guys do an awesome job at it, and I recommend anybody, there might be a lot, we're going to get into the different facets of Moverz and the different things that you guys are doing, but the bottom line is, if you just come to these meetings, you just come, hop on, we usually meet every week on average, Mondays, and it's free on the Monday night meetings, and it's just a great way to even if, I've been saying this, I used to say if you got a business to promote or service to promote, I'm even if you don't have anything going on, and you just want to be inspired by other people, that's my new philosophy. It's like, you don't need to come because you have a service you want to promote. If you're a human being who feels a little stagnant, feels stuck, and want to be on creative people like ourselves, and maybe spark some ideas. Like this past Monday, just to share, at the meeting, we went around and we talked about like creating a brand. Like what brand, even if we don't have it currently in the process, like if we can create any brand, what would it be? And like to see the excitement on people's faces was like awesome.
That's cool.
You
I mean, a lot of people don't do that too, and I think that's kind of what we want to bring to the world is just, like, I think people are afraid that they can't be a part of something if they don't have a skill or they don't have an idea
business.
or a business or a movement or any creative outlet. And I think, like, we want to be one of those first places where it encourages, like, you don't need to know all that. Like, just be around it. Just be around the energy, and eventually you'll start attracting to the people that you're interested in, and you'll pick something up, and you'll do something that you're passionate.
You don't need to come in with a lot of money. You don't need to come in with a suit and tie. It's very casual. That's what I like about it too. Is it's not intimidating. And so you guys have been doing a good job at that.
I mean, I'm wearing sweatpants.
No one had to know that. No, they look good. You got to be comfortable. Sometimes I wear sweatpants. Sometimes I don't wear much under here. But it's my podcast,
It's
my
not
rules.
I'm
I'm not even
pants at all. Right
I'm not wearing anything, guys. No, just good vibes. Good vibes only.
Just good vibes over here.
Dude, your good vibes are hanging out all day.
You know what? It's only good vibes, man. Listen, would you rather have a full suited person with no good vibes or someone with good vibes?
Good vibes
I
all the
choose good
time.
vibes,
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of good vibes, we need to talk about this. There's tons of stuff that we can talk about. We will talk about, but I want to, and I know you're into the subject of StatFest, because that's how I first got introduced. And I want to give you a moment to talk about StatFest. Like, when you think of StatFest, what do you feel?
Oh, when I think about it, oh man, I feel like that last like 2 hours of StatFest where we were able to like just calm down and do that feeling in the moment of just being like, damn, we pulled it off, and like we were able to do that. That's the feeling that I have attached with it. It's like I have a lot of different feelings attached to music and different things. Like, we were in the car the other day and one of my favorite songs came on, and I was just like, what's cool about this song is I love the song, but I also saw it live, and I'm instantly transported back.
Yes, you must feel your body get like naturally high.
Yeah, like that song specifically, like I live that moment and I have that moment attached to it now, and like that's why I love music festivals in general. It's just like there's something there. Like, I listened to a live recording of a band called Muse.
I love Muse. Yeah.
I was at the show where they recorded it live, and now I listen to that live recording and I'm like back in that sea of 80,000 people. Just like, it takes me back right there, and it's fucking awesome. Sorry, I didn't know. Can I
That's
curse?
amazing. Yeah. Oh yeah. I didn't even notice. Do you curse right now? I didn't even notice. No. That was amazing, and I'm itching and I'm excited. I think we all are like hungry for some live music, so I'm excited to for the next StatFest. Can you, for the people who don't know what StatFest is, can you just explain, both of you, like how do you describe StatFest?
I mean, it was our music festival that we threw here in Farmingdale on Long Island in 2019. It was September of 2019, and it's been we were planning to have another one this year, but we were unable to do
What
it.
happened?
I don't know, man.
What was it? I can't think of it.
I forget.
Oh,
I think we just dropped the ball.
Everyone just started staying in their homes and stuff.
Wearing masks and
We
stuff.
sold 6 tickets, and
Yeah.
we're just like, I guess we have to cancel this festival.
Yeah.
I heard you sold 19.
19?
Get it?
Wow.
No, but listen, you know what? What's amazing is I think I want to shift the conversation to how we entrepreneurs have used this last year, because I think this relates to Moverz. I think it relates to all of us. Is like, it can be a really dark time. It has been a dark time for a lot of us, but digging deep, like, working on projects and ideas that we haven't picked up or that we kept putting aside. Do you guys, how do you describe this time for yourselves? Like, do you guys think you've done some stuff that maybe otherwise you would have either held off a little bit? You know what I mean?
Definitely. I mean, we had this concept for the longest time to do this web series called The Bachelor. It's been an ongoing joke since like the beginning of Moverz, before we even like knew anything about cameras or any of that. And basically, it's a parody of The Bachelor, if you're familiar.
Yeah. I almost made it to this filming.
Yeah.
That's
So
season
you're
2.
Yeah.
Season 2.
So basically, it was the joke that Matt is the Bachelor, where he's looking for a best friend, and he's looking for his best bro. And so we did like things in the past of people would send submissions to be his best bro. It was just like an ongoing gag. Like
It's funny.
And then, you know, because of the pandemic, like everyone was just like hungry to do something. So we, you know, rented an Airbnb for 2 weeks upstate, and we did it. And, you know, we had 3 videographers. We had the Big Happy and friends and all these actors, and the whole thing was kind of, you know, bootstrapped together, and it came out awesome. We made it work. And
yeah, it was pretty crazy. 20 people in a house for 2 weeks together with a script that Brandon wrote in like a week and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And it was it's 7 episodes, like 100 pages of, and half of it like a lot of room for improvisation and all that. So we coming out with like 7 episodes that are between 15 and 25 minutes depending on the episode.
Wow.
So like we got a lot of stuff in 2 weeks up there.
When's the release date for this?
We don't have a release date. I think what we're planning on doing is something along the lines of like a late March release of episode 1, and then everything else will be like publicly. So we'll release episode 1 on all platforms for everyone to watch, like Facebook, YouTube, all that, and then all the rest of the episodes will be for the Patreon specifically. So you have to subscribe in order to get those.
You know, that's a good segue. Let's talk about the Patreon, because I think that this is awesome. I think that, you know, it's so obvious how much work you guys have put in like the last few years in the Moverz group, putting money, your own money, putting your own time, your own tears, blood, sweat, and tears. Literally, I'm sure a lot of people like bled on set, and like, you know, and just injuries and things. You know, I mean, you put a lot of work into it. Like I've done that here. I get wood paper cuts and things like all that time over here. But let's talk about the Patreon, because I think it's been a long time coming. I was always wondering when you guys would do something like that. I'm glad you guys are. But let's talk about that.
So I guess for people that are unfamiliar, Patreon is like a membership style subscription to make it simple for creators to get paid. So basically people pledge to a creator, and they create tiers, and whether they give you exclusive content or whatever value that they want to bring for that tier that they create, but it creates a better way for artists to kind of get funded for the things that they're doing. So we kind of wanted to do it differently, because we're not an artist, we're a collective of art, we're a collective of creators and entrepreneurs. So we kind of wanted to use this as a tool for now, you know, until we have our own platform, to basically fund some of the projects that we got going on, and to reinvest it back into the creators that we're already working with, because we have all these different ideas, and you know, we jump and once a year we do something big. Like this year we did the Brochler, last year we did Statfest. So we just want to be able to do it, I guess, more on a reoccurring basis, so we don't have to like wait till once a year everyone comes together, and you know, we can kind of consistently grow this and, you know, create that community.
I think to take it even a step back is like we fundraised a shitload of money to do Statfest. We fundraised a lot to do the Brochler. Like we have invested a lot of time and energy into the physical fundraising when we could have been doing other things that I think inhibited the progress of what we were doing. So when COVID happened, we were able to kind of say, all right, well, Statfest isn't happening. We're not going to be like investing all of our time and energy into just finding money. So then Ryan really spent a lot of time like putting together this plan and this business plan, and really figuring out how are we going to fund the community and fund opportunities for people that want them. And that's at the core of Moverz. That's what we want to do, is provide opportunities for creatives. We can't say to every single person in the world like, oh yeah, like
each one of you get your own show.
Yeah,
you get your own show. It's like Oprah. You get a show. You get a show. You get a show. You get a personal mover. He's your mover. You know? Yeah, exactly. You know, and that's. But when I heard you guys create that, and I spoke to you guys on the phone, and you explained it to me, I was like, not that you sold me right away, but I was like, I wanted to do it, because I was like, you guys have done so much for the community. You've done so much for all of us. It's in my best interest to support groups like you. It's a win-win. Like it's like, take my money, you know.
But we're all. But that's the thing. Like,
it's less
that
about
group
the money.
is.
No, yeah, but that's not what I mean.
That group is your group, you know, and that's like the thing. It's like we're all really just investing in ourselves, and we like to use the you know, analogy that it's kind of like a gym membership. You don't pay $20 and then you're just healthy. You have to put in the work. And actually, in the beginning of the Patreon, that's really what it was designed for. To say, all right, how can we get everyone's attention that we're working with? To say, hey, let's go all in together. Like, how can we work on the projects together? And it's hard because, you know, you have people that are up and down, and that's the hardest thing about entrepreneurship, is when you're bringing everyone together to keep them on the same page to get to that goal together. Because we all have the same ultimate vision. It's that creative freedom. I mean, we all have different things that we want to do within the space, but that overall vision and movement to be able to do what we love every day without having to worry, that's kind of where everyone's working towards. So if we can kind of just be able to create that culture by working as a bigger team, you know, it really comes down to the power of numbers and the power of what happens when the community comes together towards that same goal and really focusing that energy towards something big. And
the truth is, you're not going to want everyone to be a participation, right? Because the idea is you want people who are going to be involved and be like, how can I support? Not just what can I get from this group, but like even I said to you guys, like I want to promote you guys and all my content, my posts, you know, because it's win-win. The more successful you guys are, the more successful I can be. Vice versa, right? The more eyes on my content, the more eyes on your content. So, you know, people watching this, the truth is, I don't know what you guys feel, but I'm going to say that this may not be for everybody, because if you have that mentality of like, well, I'm going to donate, I'm going to put $20 in, but I want this back, I expect all these things in return. It's like a gym membership, like you said. You don't just pay $20 and you're healthy. You got to show up to the gym.
you got to be disciplined.
You know, and I want to be that mover and to hopefully inspire other people. If you're going to join this group and this community, all of us, is like, come bring ideas. You know, if you have people that are able to fund and support, if you have connections to studios or actors or you know, content or any, bring those ideas.
Or don't just even yourself, just get involved. You know, like at the end of the day, just by asking like, hey, what can I do, and you know, you'll eventually find what you really want to do through just asking those questions. You know, because I think that's the hardest thing. People, they get stuck in, I don't really know what I want to do. But then they get stuck in thinking about it more than just doing. And if you're not doing an action, you're never going to learn what you like and you don't. Like you said off the podcast, but you know, it's better. I'd rather try something for 15 minutes and hate it, because now I know I'll never do that thing again. Like it's true.
We've been recording everything.
Oh, perfect.
Since even the walk outside of my house, we record everything.
Oh,
you know?
nice.
I put a camera on you. You've been recording the whole day. You know what I'm saying? No, it's true.
We walked
It was a lot of dead time trying to find your space, so that was the first 20 minutes.
That's the first 20 minutes of them watching this podcast. It's just us around in front on the driveway.
Staring.
Like idiots.
You made it in when I flashed the lights.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, half the journey is finding location. We don't tell anybody. We kind of give like a general location. They kind of have to like walk up. Ball vibes!
It's like a treasure map. It was crazy.
You got to find the vibes. You have like a vibe meter. And you just
no.
That's a good commercial.
Yeah.
We could make that.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, guys. You heard it here first.
5 meter commercial coming out in
sometime
June.
June? All right, you put the date out there. You gotta
June.
Pressure's on you now.
4th.
He gave himself a lot of
June
time.
4th.
Yeah, I gave him so much
What
time.
year?
We're filming this tonight, but I have 6 months to edit it.
Yeah, you didn't say the year, so you don't.
I mean,
Yeah,
June 4th,
Yeah.
2027.
You know, but just to bring it back, you know, I gotta say, I'm really excited for us as you know, I think you're squeaking on them.
Is it on the wall?
I told you not to bring your squeak
I'm
toy.
sorry.
He brings his squeaky toys everywhere he goes.
Every time.
It's a little it's a pineapple. He brings from Statfest. But I gotta say, guys, I'm super excited to see where the Moverz Media group goes. I'm going to the Wednesday meetings, and I'm pumped. You know, because you know what's cool is those people who are showing up. You know that they're like, not that the other people aren't dedicated, because you know, who are we to judge? We don't know the situation, what's going on, right? But it just shows you like how much more like serious they're taking their journey as an entrepreneur. You know, and there's so much value. Like going to one meeting, I feel like for me personally, like the connections I make that small fee worth it, because of just all the ideas and people and they stay connected. It's not just you talking to these people during these meetings, like they're part of your life. They're part of your family now.
Well, that's the purpose of what we're building together.
Yeah, well, it's working.
Creating this community, like bringing people like you into this community. We know that you're going to go around and contact everyone, and people are going to promote their projects that they have on your show, and they're going to promote your show when they put out their projects. So it's like, this is the community that we're building of people like yourself and people like a lot of the artists that are in our community. They're looking for these types of connections. So that's another ultimate goal of ours, is just to, like, going back to the gym analogy, the reason why you pay for that gym membership is because it gives you the tools. So if we can be the gym owners who are bringing you the tools and trying to go out and make more connections for people and bring the overall level of the group up, that's kind of the role that we want to take every day.
But the cool thing is, it's also the people too. Like, unlike a gym membership where you don't know the people around you, in some places, like, you know, there's more of a culture. There's betters than others. But like, the cool thing about this community is everyone's kind of motivating each other and kind of pushing each other and teaching each other. And so it's this peer kind of movement and collective where it's not just, you know, all right, I'm paying and I need to do this for myself. that's the first reason, you know, do this for you. But then after, it's like, all right, how can we work together, you know? And I think that's what makes it magical. It's like, what can we do with all these creative brains? Like, what can we accomplish? What impact can we make? And
I love it. And you know, I think that's saying, you know, collaboration over competition. You know, you could do so much by yourself. You could do so much, you know, but when we come together and we're like trying to support a common vision and go like this, the sky's the limit, honestly.
That's
there's
truly
so many...
where. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's truly where Moverz started. Was like, we understood that we will never be the best at everything that we're doing. We might be the best connectors, or we might be the best. You know, you might be the best person to come up with an idea, and I might be the best person to do audio for that idea. But like, as a collective, we need 15 people to execute every single one of these ideas.
Yeah.
So that's why we kind of were searching for those people. We were searching for the team members to get started.
And just to be vulnerable with you, just to share real quick, I don't want to make this about me, but you know, growing up with a learning disability, I think we all have challenges. We all have challenges. Not all can be seen by the eyes, right? There's so much that goes on in each of our lives that we may not even share with other people. And for me, at a young age, I had to learn to advocate for myself and say, you know what, I struggle at this, so I need to ask for help. Or I'm good at this is where all my strengths are, so I'm going to focus on my strengths rather than my weaknesses. Or I'm going to implement these strengths, right, and not dwell on the negatives, right? And I think for me, when I go to a networking group, being self-aware is so important. Like I mentioned to you guys, like, yeah, I could do the editing, but that's not my strength. It would be a disservice to all of us for me to be like, yeah, man, I could do the editing in this video and that video, and then I can't perform, right? I can't do it. So I think being honest and upfront about where your strengths are is so important. And it's okay. Like I believe that I'm a student at everything and master at nothing. I don't say that to put myself down, because every time I think I know something, I turn around, I'm like, get knocked on my ass, and I'm just like, oh, didn't know that, you know, or I could learn so much more. So when I go into a networking group like Moverz, I'm always just like, wow, this person's like this, you know, this person's a specialist in this, but you know, I may not need to connect with them now, but maybe in a month from now when I have something with marketing or somebody with the music industry, it's so crazy how once you start getting these puzzle pieces, like how they start falling into place. I know those are rants, but I just felt like I'm passionate about that, you know?
No, I like that. I mean, it's true. I mean, our strength and weaknesses, I mean, even on a small scale and then a big scale, like, I hate doing minuscule stuff. Like, I'm not that type of person. Like, I can't, like I like just thinking big, or like when we're at a low as a group, like, you know, coming up with that idea that brings back the energy,
like the same way.
You know, like that's more my focus. Yeah.
No, but that segues into the question I asked you. So let's say that let's talk about the things that we dislike as an entrepreneur, not just necessarily being part of Moverz, but as an entrepreneur. So for you dislike, like, give me an example. Like,
I mean, so like, believe it or not, I actually love the perseverance part. Like, I really am addicted to that. Like, even when it's at the lowest or things aren't working, like, because my favorite part is I know that there's gonna be like you have to keep going. Like, it's life is going
so far.
You have
as
to
a
do
Moverz
something.
group,
Yeah.
and what's cool is you have so many people, like, may not even be in the core Moverz, but just like that support the movement, that you could, like, you know, I don't know the answer to this, but I can reach out to Steve or Paul, whoever, you know, or, you know, Matt, anybody.
And when you hit that wall, like, you always know there's going to be something on the other side, and it's going to be even better and bigger than before. So like, that energy is like what motivates me to keep going. I think the least favorite thing is just like the little shit along the way, like just making sure I'm like, all right, I have this meeting at 8 o'clock, getting my Google Calendar, doing like little minuscule shit, putting things like
organizing.
Yeah, organizing.
That's the biggest battle.
And I'm not even like bad at organizing. It's just
so much.
The mental drain that it takes, I feel like, is
put it on your calendar type of
vibe. Or just like when I'm having a conversation with you, like, let's say it was a really important one and I wanted to take notes. I'm not the guy to take notes.
Me too.
I'm just not going to do that.
I struggle. That's why I got copies of my notes in class, because I can either, listen, I can't do anything. You want me to focus or you want me to write notes? What do you want me to do? Do you want me to film the podcast or work the camera? I can't do everything, you guys. How about you? What's your like...
So, we, in this world, you need to be constantly innovating. You need to constantly be changing what you're doing.
Pivoting,
you need to pivot, and Moverz has pivoted. This is like the 8th iteration of Moverz, and there will be 9 and 10 and 11 and 12.
Change your name to the Pivoters.
Yeah, we'll pivot.
We're moving, you know, adjusting.
Pivot.
Yeah, but the thing that I have found myself disliking the most is, like, we get so far along with an idea, and then it has to change. You know, they're like,
a roadblock.
We get so close to like something that we had our eyes on for a while, and then we're just like, you know what would be better if we pivot to this. And those ideas, that innovation, it's knowing when to do that. But I sometimes get bogged down in the like, no, like let's just do it.
We've come so far with
we were so close, and then Ryan's like, no, we can't do that anymore. Like we're not there. It's not what we should be doing. And it's like
But the good thing is it all does come back. That's something I've noticed. Like more than ever, I have this like feeling where it's like for a long time it felt like, all right, we're doing this thing, we just keep changing. But now it's like everything that we learned over the years is kind of fully coming back and being like, that's why you did all that. Like so that's that kind of clarity. I feel like we've never had that. Like going back to what you were saying with the pandemic, like some of the upside. I think it was really just kind of sitting down, looking at this thing as a whole, and being like, all right, like even the puzzles, like putting the puzzle together. It's like everything led up to where we are now, but it's also the closest it's been from the beginning, which I really love. Like the first idea,
full circle.
Spiral. That's the spiral. I'm not wearing the logo, but
sweatpants.
I do have the sweatpants. Yeah, I can't see it.
I gotta get some Moverz merch.
They go the page.
You know, that's cool. And now the back end of that question, I want to ask you guys. I think I know yours, but what is like the most exciting part of being a mover for you? And let's go back. We'll go back because I know the music, the Statfest, right? Isn't that yours? Being a part.
I love Statfest, but I think as a whole, Moverz, damn fucking squeaky.
The squeaky toys back there, guys.
I put my pineapple down behind my chair. Man, I don't know. I feel like I have to think about this to give it a good answer.
You can come back to you.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm gonna put Ryan on the spot. Right.
Okay. My favorite part about Moverz.
Or being a mover.
I think the fact that it's endless, that like there's never going to be like, all right, did it. You know, it's just constantly new ideas, and like that can be a scary thought because it's like, why am I doing it? Like, where is it all adding up to if this is just going to be forever? But then really like living in the moment of like
the power of now.
I just love this. Like, I don't know what it is. There's just an energy and like waking up every day and going for it.
I think it's the vibes.
It is. Sure. It's just a vibe, and like that energy that you get. Like I don't get that, like anywhere else. And it's a mindset. It's not even just Moverz as a business, but just like I think it's the way that we're living our lives of just like going all in on the things that we really love. And it could be in any aspect, relationships, business, anything.
The ups and downs, everything.
And it's crazy how when you go all in on that, how much simpler life gets. So it's like the fear of that things are limitless. You don't have to worry about that because when you're all in on something, things just magically start happening that are like, oh, like nice, like it is all working out. Everything is good, and it's just by being with a good group of people that just
and they inspire you and they push you. And even like you said, when all entrepreneurs, whether you're movers, you're part of another group or whatever, like there's going to be the ups and downs. Mm-hmm. And I really relate to what you said because I think in life we get so stuck in that rat race of, okay, I'm going to be happy once this happens. Mm-hmm. And then what happens is even though all these nice things are happening, you're so focused on the future goal. Like, people live for the weekend type of thing. We've all been there. Mm-hmm. I'll be happy once I have the degree of the relationship with the white picket fence and this and that. But what's cool, you just said, is, I agree, is like enjoying the journey. And I'm the same way. When I created this podcast, I was like, I don't care whether it goes on Spotify, YouTube. I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna, and we've come a long way, and the set's transformed, and I enjoyed every step. I'm not just enjoying it now or waiting to enjoy it. I'm like, I enjoy the phone calls. I enjoyed planning this. Like I've
enjoyed the hardships.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
weird, like because it's a feeling, and it's something that you don't always get to feel, and like I think that's the most important thing too. Is just like everything will work out as long as we're with good people and we're doing what we love and we're moving forward. And like you said too, like I've seen people, they're like, oh, I'm successful when I'm here, but then guess what? They get there and they're still not happy, and then they just keep raising the bar, but then they're never satisfied. So it's like I think it's good to have goals. I think it's good to be like, I want to be here, but also enjoy where you're at too. Yes. And it's a hard thing to do, but
we've been around people, let's get real. Like we've, and I want to get to where you're up. You get a lot of time. I do not want to hear, and do not say that squeaky toy.
I came up with my answer the second he started speaking. I was like, oh.
So is this a squeaky toy? Is that the most exciting part?
No. But go ahead.
No, you share. What's your favorite part?
I agree with everything Ryan said. That's awesome stuff.
I don't.
For me, it's the people in the community. Like we've met some crazy, insanely talented people, and we continue to meet awesome people. And I just feel like wow, all these people, like I get to work with all these people all the time, and that is insanely cool. And I feel like as an organization, as a group, we get to like have a piece in helping those people get to where they belong, which is to the top. Like I want the Big Happy, I want Darvis, I want Bunktown Falls, I want Paul Vibes, Space and Money. Like I want everyone to be at the top.
Yeah.
And like because they're supremely talented and they're doing
and
really
you too,
cool
you
shit.
guys don't get enough credit. I feel like you guys are always like it's like the saying, rising tides bring up all ships, but like you guys are awesome as well. You guys are always promoting other people's a show for this person, this video, that. But you guys are awesome.
I feel like what we do, besides Ryan has a lot of his own creative projects, but I don't have my own necessarily creative projects that I work on. But what I feel is my part in this entire movement is helping to bring all of those pieces together and to produce something like a Statfest, where like, sure, I had a hand in producing Statfest, but it wouldn't be possible without all of those bands and all of the people that helped out. Like, it's not my creative effort, it's like the creative effort of the entire community. And
don't let Steve fool you. He's a great whistler.
I am a good whistler, yeah.
Not just squeak. He produces a lot of sounds.
Yeah,
I'm a great sound maker.
And you like a button. I want to record the sounds like Space. Alex has that. He presses the little switcher and has like the different sounds. That come out.
I'll do that for you. One day we'll just sit in here and we'll record a bunch of sounds, and then you can use them in your podcast whenever you want.
What sound would you make? If you can make any sound.
What sound would I make?
Or can you make?
Nothing from my mouth sounds good when it comes out.
Nothing from your
I tried singing.
Even English sometimes.
Yeah, English singing. None of that. I don't like any of that.
Oh no.
That's why I like the guitar. It's like let me make noises
with my hands.
from something else. Like,
They turn the microphone off as you get close to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I tried singing because now I drive to Philly to visit my girlfriend, so I have these long trips. I'm like, I've never tried singing. Let me try singing, and then immediately I'm like, nah, not for me.
I hope nobody was anybody in the car.
No, it's just me. It's just me. Even in traffic, I'm like looking around, like no one needs to see this.
Yeah, I'm a great singer in the shower, in the car. That's the place to sing. You know what I'm saying?
If you can't sound good in the shower, that's when you know you should just not do it.
The neighbors scream,
Just-
shut up.
And it sucks more because like I have like a pretty good idea of melody, so I know how bad I am because I know what I want to sound like and it's not doing that, so it just annoys me even more. It's
No. Hey, listen, we all got a place, we have different pieces of the puzzle.
Not a singer.
But one thing I want to pivot and talk about is, we have a lot of people who watch us, like I said, that either they know you, some of them know you, some of them don't. But I want to talk to the people out there, like, what are the type of people that will be, I know the answer to this, but I want you guys to say, like, what are the type of people that would enjoy being a part of this movement, right? Because some people watching this might think, oh, but I'm not musically inclined, or I'm not this, or I'm not that. I know nothing about podcasts, and I get that too. A lot of people are intimidated. I don't know if you guys probably heard this. A lot of people are intimidated by content creators because they think it's so far-reaching. They think, oh, I can't do that, And I tell people, like, just take out your phone, record something. You don't need to have it professionally edited. And that's kind of my viewpoint, is just put it out there. Don't overthink it. But, what are your guys' take on that?
I mean, I would like to have a culture where people care less about what other people think. I think that's one of the biggest reasons people don't do what they love, because they're like, oh, what is this person going to think? Or what is my followers going to think? And all this. And so it, like, kind of puts them down from doing it. So, I mean, I think for us, like, the person we're looking for is, if you're just looking for a little spark or a little something more in your life, I think being around creative people kind of, like, empowers that and inspires and gets it out of you. It's like, you don't need to have a reason. If you're just, like, looking for something, like, or not looking for anything, just, like, you just want...
Be around that energy.
Be around an energy.
That's what I mean. You guys have changed my life just by that fact. Like, just being around other people, like, even though, like, I'll be sitting with people at these Moverz meeting, guys, where... they'll be the opposite, not in a bad way, but they'll be so opposite of me, right? They don't like public speaking.
We're kind of opposites in the way that we think. Like, I'm an opposite with Ryan, and you guys are very similar in the way that you think.
Interesting. Yeah, I can see that. But the point I'm making is, like, that's good, though. Like, I want to be around people that are different. We
need to fill each other's gaps. Like, we need to... The only reason that I'm able to do something like a Statfest is because Ryan has crazy ideas, and the only
reason I could do a Statfest is because
I ask him
a million
90
questions.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
We both drive him crazy, yeah. And it wouldn't be fun if there was 3 Steves, 3 Ryans, or 3 ball vibes, you like to be annoying. Like I always date the opposite of me usually, like or I'm friends with a lot of people who are opposites and stuff like that too, because it's good.
We all have the same vision though. I think
true.
that's the most important thing. You have to have the same vision, and that vision can be broad. It's not necessarily like I want to be the best podcaster. It's more of like I want to be able to tell stories. It's more broad. I feel like because I feel like me and Steve's vision is very similar, where it's like we want this community to thrive. Like that's really what we want. So how we do it is very different because we have different thought processes and different skills and techniques. But
that's what makes you guys so special. I think as a Moverz group, I think is like your guys' unique experience, your unique background, even your cultures, your religion, the background you have, your upbringing, like all those things. We can nitpick at all of our upbringings, like this was bad, or oh this happened to me, and look, there's some shitty things that happen to all of us, right? And that will happen. We are, though. But exactly, it's like you wouldn't be who you are. Like I wouldn't be who I am without overcoming my own learning disability and other challenges, and you guys wouldn't be who you are. Mm-hmm. And the same with the viewers. Like, and I hope you guys, people watching this, as we slowly wrap up, like no matter what challenges you face as an entrepreneur, as an individual, whoever, know that there is that possibility of transmuting. And I give talks at schools, and one of the biggest things I talk about is transmuting. Mm-hmm. And as we wrap up, I want to ask you guys another deep, vulnerable question is like, what is something that you have personally, whether it's been on your own personal journey or as an entrepreneur, and you can get as personal or as broad as you want, but I want to ask you guys, what is something that you've had to overcome, and you can be as, detailed as you want or not. And I mentioned to you guys, for me, it was overcoming my learning disability, the bullying that went along with it, the self-doubt, the confidence issues, feeling like, I wouldn't be successful in the future, and all these insecurities. That for me was like, I think led me to do all these things,
Yeah, I got an answer for this one.
Yeah, you got one.
Right away. Mine is kind of the same. It's getting out of my own way and actually just sitting down and putting in the work. A lot of the times I think I get caught in a loop, and I just like, when it comes to editing a project, it's like, I need to get ready to edit this project instead of just like sitting down and doing it, and overcoming that and having that self-doubt almost of like, it's not going to come out good, but it's not going to come out better if you wait. Like, you might as well just work on it and practice it. Like,
jump in there.
Figuring out myself that like, as a creator, as a person, I'm able to accomplish a lot when I actually do put my mind into it and when I do actually put in the work. So like, why waste time not putting in the work?
And you have people to lean on. You have support. And I resonate with that. I resonate that self-doubt. We get in our own way. I think they're saying we often are our biggest critic, right? We often are the ones.
I bet Ryan can sing. He just thinks he can.
He's probably the best singer.
No, he's a really bad singer.
Hey, listen,
can't do everything.
Oh, can't do everything. Back to the drawing board.
So I think similar in the sense like confidence to listen to myself more too. Like I think when I first started, like even before Moverz, like coming up with ideas, like I always would just ask for approval. But I'm also the people I'm asking maybe not knew and had an answer, and so like deep down I knew what I wanted to do or what I want, you know what I mean, or what I wanted to create, and it's just like I think I wasn't finding the answers outward because I just needed to listen to myself more. So like when I started to be like, you know what, I'm just gonna start doing the things that I like and start there. I think that kind of created a whole different spiral to just
I think it often comes back to what our original ideas were. Like we journey away from them and then we come back to them 4 years later and we're like, oh, this is what we started as.
And that's part of the journey. That's what it is, man.
And we did awesome things along the way. Like we did big projects. We did these different things and met a ton of crazy people because of those things. So
our original idea feels less idealistic because of the experiences that we went. And it's funny because the same message that we're talking about is exactly what we said 4 years ago, but we just didn't know how any of it worked.
Now we're able to articulate it and have a plan to execute it.
Mm-hmm. That's so true. And it's like this idea of like this ball, right, or a rock, right, and through the crashing of the waves in the ocean through time, it smooths out, right? It becomes more round. And I think in life, like, we have bumps in the road. We have big bumps, and sometimes you don't make it through those bumps. Let's be real. Like, but if we're able to make it through, like you guys made it through so long with the Moverz group, that you've coming out the other side like more refined. The edges are smoother, and there's gonna be more bumps, like any journey. And if you have that illusion that there's you're wrong. There's gonna be ups and downs of any journey of an entrepreneur and as an organization like you guys. So, you know. But what's cool is you guys are expanding. You have people like myself, not other people that are like taking it more seriously, that are gonna be more committed to like helping out with projects, less like, oh yeah, well, you got this big event coming on, now I'll help you. It's like you're creating a more consistent, like with the Patreon. And I think that's what people who are listening, a lot of people are scared of Patreons, different things like that, but I think it makes sense if you really sit down and think of all the work that goes into what you guys do. It's like it's a win-win.
What we do,
you know?
what everyone does.
Yeah, we do, yeah.
And I like what you said with the rocks in the road, because I think we started approaching it differently. I don't think the goal is to not have challenges and to not have
no way.
Problems come up. I think it's try not to have the same challenges. Once you create a solution, don't do the same thing twice. But I think it's to look for new challenges. But because if we're an organization that focuses on solutions, then that's how we really learn. And that's when we can, do bigger and better things. It doesn't matter what industry or what project we're working on or what idea we have. The skill sets that we've learned from being problem solving will get us
and it will make that next problem a little bit easier, and the next one a little bit easier, because you got this new connection, or you've learned like what and so many people. I think so much of the journey of being qualified for me as a speaker or as a person who runs a podcast is just being consistent. I know it's cliche, but like just keep going, like keep moving. There's so many times keep moving, and there's so many reasons to be a part of your group and our group. I love it, and I think that I'm still going to saying that because, we got to remind ourselves that just because you guys started it, like it's everyone's group, and people watching this for the first time who's never been a part of a Moverz group, this could be just as much your group as it is our group.
Well, we said when we first started that like there's already Moverz out there. There was Moverz before we were Moverz. It's just like
before our time.
Yeah, I mean,
you have to find them.
It's just kind of I look at Moverz as a compliment to let someone know like you're moving, you're doing it.
Yeah.
You're following, you're doing what you love, because like that simple thing, like sometimes people don't even know that they're in it. Like sometimes people are like working on like doing what they love, and they're almost like run down because a simple person just saying, "Hey, keep doing that. That's awesome." Like that changes their whole paradigm, because then they're like, "Oh, like I am enjoying what I'm doing," and it gives them a whole new wave of energy. So like for us, it's like that concept of being a mover. It just the title kind of inspires you to keep going.
What's the first thing I said to you guys when you walked in? Like I didn't want to be all like mushy on you guys. I was like, "Thank you guys," and I meant it. Like thank you. And on that note, I think we went way over, but I think that we spoke about a lot of good stuff. Hopefully, the people who watch this either live or when this gets uploaded enjoy it. And I do want to say that if people have different topics or ideas or things that we want to talk about down the road, because I'd love to have you guys on more consistently, have other Movers on. Maybe if you're watching this and you want to be on, let us know. Check out the Patreon group for Moverz Media, and I want to give this opportunity for you guys just to either share anything you didn't have a time that you wanted to share, or just to shout out where on social media and stuff people can like connect with you, things like that.
Cool. I'll go first. Let's see. You mentioned something earlier that I thought was like a different perspective than we generally think, which was this community may not be for you.
That's true.
But I think that it may not be for you right now.
All right. Okay.
That's the thing.
Good.
It's like, because what we're working on every single day is to make this something that has value for every single person on Earth. Or like at least on Long Island right now to start, is it may not be there in that first 100, because right now we're sitting here on February 16th and we have 40 people that are committed to this group, who are paying that gym membership, who want to be part of this movement. By the time it comes out on whatever day you said, March 18th or something like that,
100,
we'll have 100 and people will see that progress. But I forget where I was going with that completely. I got.
You're saying how the group can be for everybody, right? Even if it's not right now.
At that point, like we're building, our goal is to build something of value for every single person. So you may not be one of those first 100 people who will get value from this thing. You may not be an artist or a creative, or you may not perceive yourself as that right now. But eventually, there's going to be discounts. There's going to be, like businesses on there. There's going to be all these different things that we have built in, and there's going to be rewards, and we're going to be throwing events and like information at you, and you may be one of those people who just wants to know what's going on, and maybe that has value to you. And then on top of that, which we didn't really mention, and we kind of keep on the back burner because we don't want it to be the main selling point. Is like for the first 10,000 people who join this movement, we're actually giving them shares of the company. We're actually like
awesome.
growing this thing together because initially Ryan and Joe went out west to speak to a couple of investors because we wanted to get some money to bring into this so that we can invest in the projects. And they're saying, well, that's good, and there's someone out there who will give you that money if you look for them and you find them. But it's not sustainable. And we had to build a community to make this thing sustainable so that we have that monthly budgets coming in so that they can go towards these projects.
Yeah.
So that's like, at its core, Moverz may not be for you right now, but stay connected with us, have conversation with us, DM us, like talk to us, and you know, there will be a time for everyone to join the movement.
You changed my mind. I agree. I think that it definitely can be for everybody. But the point that I would make before is that, you know, you have to be willing to also come up with ideas and give an idea. And I think that's what makes a mover. Mover is like the ability not just to take ideas, but also to contribute. So, but yeah, I agree.
And it could be the thing that you contribute to this thing may be, I love Paul Vibes podcast, and he's part of this community, so I want to support him by joining this community. And that's all. Like if that's the way you're going into this thing without looking for that return, then you will probably get the most return.
I almost feel like that's the only way this works too, and I think that as this grows, it's making it simpler for people to join and understand that this movement is past just, you know, what I can get, but how can we inspire and empower more people? Because if everyone in the world did the $20, then money doesn't need to exist. But that could take lifetimes of lifetimes and lifetimes. But I think it's just more of the concept of coming together and saying, how can we help each other?
Yeah.
You know, like, so.
I love it. No, and I think that's good. And I'm excited to see where this journey goes, and we're all on this journey together. And you know, as I mentioned before, where is the main places that you want people to follow, connect with you guys?
If you follow us on Moverz _ on Instagram, it links to all.
Perfect.
Our
That's the main
movements.
page because you got a lot of cool stuff in the works. Like I said, whenever I tag you guys,
Yeah, there's a million things.
that's a good thing. It's a good problem to have. It's a good
Mhm.
problem. So listen, guys, I hope that you guys come on. I could do like a 5-hour podcast, but we have other things as entrepreneurs going on, you know. But it's been a pleasure. You know, I love your guys' vibe. Again, thank you for all the work you've done in the community.
Yeah, thanks for having us on, man. This is really cool. We'll definitely do it again.
Thanks, guys. So yeah, let's send some good energy, send some peace and love to the viewers. Thank you guys for watching, and definitely follow them on social media. Subscribe, follow, do all that good stuff. Join their Patreon. I highly recommend it. And yeah, we're gonna definitely do more with the Movers and do more round table. I want to have a full table of Movers.
That's cool.
18 cameras.
18 cameras.
That's cool.
2 cameras per person. Okay.
Yeah, 9 people, 18 cameras.
Yeah.
Let's do it, man. Hey, cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys, for watching. Goodbye.
In the podcast, now it's full throttle. Life is never hollow, but if you ever feel twisted or need to be lifted, yo, my man is gifted.